All right. I'm going to learn what those lights mean on the camera one of these days, and then I'll know when I'm live. I think we're live. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the old stream. I find that I still want to immediately look to my right to make sure the cameras are all set right, but I gave that control up like a month ago. So now I'm just like the hammering monkey. What day is today? The 10th. So that means that silly made-up holiday that's dumb is coming up soon. So we're making hearts. I was thinking maybe about doing a rose, but I looked all over and I just don't have the proper metal to make a rose. So maybe next week I'll conjure up a piece of metal that can be used to make a rose. Because the rose is pretty fun. Do I still have my rose? Nope. So yeah, it's pretty fun. But today, we're just going to do hearts. Now, I think last summer we did a video on making hearts. Me and Levi made hearts, but in different fashions. I'm going to go with the first way I made a heart, and then modify it a little bit. So the first time I made a heart, I brought it down to like a flat taper. I took a piece of metal, and brought it down to a flat taper on both sides, and then curled those in, and then folded it in the middle, and it all came together. Voila, a heart. I think today we're going to do real thin tapers and roll it into a loop on each end, and then fold it in. So it'll come in and kind of swirl around on the inside. It's slightly different than how I did before. And then you guys can all make them for your sweethearts or your neighbor. Make it really weird in your neighborhood. Like, make one and go over to your neighbor and be like, hey, I thought about you and made this. And make it really weird. It'll be great. So, yeah, that's what we're going to do tonight. Should be a pretty easy, quick process. But last week's project was supposed to be pretty quick and easy. Knock on wood. And that didn't go well because fire management issues. So we'll try to do better today. Oh, and also we can talk about why we knock on wood. That's fun. Without saying, this will be real quick. I have a full crew tonight. So, Levi and Brittany, without saying what it is, do you know why we knock on wood?
Nope.
Awesome. All right, let's hit some metal for a minute, though. We're going to start by squaring this off and then making it pointy eventually. You're going to see some smoke because there's wax on my anvil. So, I can't remember the type of tree that's very specific, but generally trees work, as my understanding. But it comes from Irish folklore about the elves and whatnot. Fairies, not elves, fairies. They're usually referred to as fairy trees. And so when people would go walking into the woods, they would knock on the trees to let the fairies know that they're coming through. Because if they didn't give the fairies a heads up and ask for a blessing to get through, all sorts of weird stuff would happen. Like a wheel would fall off your wagon, or your horse would twist its ankle in a hole, or like you'd drop your Guinness and spill it. You know, like just silly little terrible things would happen. And so they would knock on the trees and ask the fairies for a blessing to get through without the fairies pranking them and giving them a hard time, and thus knocking on wood for good luck is boring. It's fun if you travel around Ireland. You'll look out and it's just like big rolling hills of green and big green flatland with like lots of sheep and stuff. And then there'll be one lonely tree out in the very middle. Like you can tell everything else has been cleared out, but there'll be like one tree at the corner or one tree over there. Those are fairy trees. And you don't go messing with fairy trees because it'll bring you super, super bad luck. There is a story, I think it was in somewhere down near Killarney, Cork, in that general area, where a kid was out playing and in a pool of water off the side of the road, he found this really cool artifact, right? And he brought it home to his dad and says, "Hey, Dad, check out this really cool thing that I found, this like old artifact." And his dad said, "Where'd you get that?" He goes, "Oh, I got it from that pool of water that's down by such and such." And he says, "Oh, no. You go put that back. That's a fairy pool. Put that stuff back. That'll bring bad luck, like horrible." So the kid went and tossed it back in. A large number of years go by, somebody else finds it in this pool of water. It's some like 300-year-old artifact that is like now in a museum. It's like this super expensive, super valuable thing. Kid just chucked it in the pond because his dad told him it'd be bad luck. The Irish, great people, very superstitious. Let's make pointy sticks. Let's hit the metal. Bada bing. So yeah, that's why we knock on wood. To appease the fairies.
I had a feeling it was going to be something along those lines.
So yeah, fun facts. Again, this is the Everything channel. You come here for some blacksmithing and stay for the random bits of trivia. So Levi, you weren't here last week to be part of the conversation, but I came up with an idea that Brittany thinks is terrible. One Monday a month, like the first or last Monday, the topic for the stream is conspiracy theories. Let's like lean into some conspiracy theories just for the heck of it.
We'll have to have your dad in for that.
We also tried to convince his dad after the stream. So we talked about it during the stream on getting him set up with YouTube like shorts, so he can go on and on about conspiracy theories there. He wasn't into it though.
But then he called me a few days later. He was digging around in one of the closets in his house and found a cardboard box in the back of this closet. So he dragged it out and opened it up, and there was a whole bunch of pictures and photographs. A box he thought he lost in the move when he moved into the house. So he's all super excited, and now he wants me to come over and show him how to record on his phone. And he wants to set up his camera on his phone and record him pulling out photographs and talking about who that is and funny stories and like this big nostalgia walk down memory lane thing. Like that could be fun. Like, so I'm gonna go down and show him how to use his camera.
That's awesome.
Might take him one of these phone mounts that I recently got a hold of and let him clamp that to a table or something so he doesn't have to, nobody wants to see shaky cam around all these photos.
Right.
Robin Curtis, that's that woman's name. So a cousin of mine dated this woman, Robin Curtis, and brought her to a family reunion. And we got to talking to her, and she played a Vulcan in a couple of Star Trek episodes and played like a nurse in a Star Trek movie or something. And she has a few other titles to her name. And she just happened to have pictures of her in her Starfleet uniform and her Vulcan ears and stuff. And she even signed an autograph for me and signed one for my dad. Mine's in a scrapbook, but Dad recently just found his in this box, so I'd love to hear what he has to say about that. You know, 20 years removed from meeting her. But yeah, he was telling me about it. He's like, remember that woman that so-and-so dated, the Vulcan? I was like, yeah. And I could not think of her name. And it just fit. eat real quick. If Rob was here, I'd tell him I'm going to heat up my anvil. He's a big fan of that. He sent me a video of a dude forge welding on a block of ice.
Yeah, you showed us. That was awesome. It wasn't quite a block of ice, but it was basically a block of ice. It was a metal plate on a block of ice.
If you think about it, though, had he tried forge welding directly on the ice, one or two hits, it would have split the ice anvil in half.
Yeah.
So you got to have that metal on there to protect the ice at that point versus protecting the metal from the cold.
Yeah. And plus, it's basically a big giant heat sink when it's block of ice. So.
I mean, that's a big heat sink too. So you know what are you gonna do?
Which
But
one
the
was
difference
more
is-
efficient?
But you got to think about it. If you pull a piece of metal out that's 2,600 degrees, it's not going to
Delta
be that
C
much.
is not going to be that big.
And even if you're one of those dudes that heats up a block of metal and sets it on your anvil and lets it sit for 20 minutes, if you got your anvil up to 200 degrees, what's that going to do to 24 or 2,600 degrees? It's not going to do anything.
Right.
You might get a hammer swing more out of it.
Yeah. Just makes it dangerous for you.
What do you mean?
If you got your anvil up to 200 degrees and then stuck your hand on it while you're talking,
That would be
Sat on it?
unpleasant. It would be unpleasant.
and plus you have a history of sitting on a hot metal anyways.
That's a true story. Yeah, I was at class and we were making punches and chisels and stuff. And I made one punch and I just put it right here on the tip of the anvil. And I worked on my other one and got it cleaned up and finished. And I set it next to it. And a buddy of mine was at the shop too. He's like, hey, can I just set this on the anvil next to it? Like, yeah, sure. The anvil will suck all the heat out of it, you know, yada, yada, yada. So we had these 3 pieces sitting on the anvil to, you know, cool. And we're doing something over here. I was like, oh, cool, a demo? And I just turned around and sat down on the anvil. And it took about 3 seconds, like, oh, that's hot. And I jumped up off the anvil and like smoke was coming from my pants. And I burned a hole in my pocket. And everyone laughed at me. It was a good time. All right, back to making pointy sticks. Taking our time. This is going to be a quick project, so let's draw this out as much as we can. Blacksmith joke, draw in and out. Here all week, folks.
Never a good pun.
What do you mean never a good pun?
There's no such thing as a good pun. There's just
Let's
less
talk
bad
about-
ones.
Let's just talk about that for a brief moment. I'm a big fan of puns. Why do people hate them? I don't get it. I really don't.
I'm not sure why people don't like them either. Because I love good puns.
Yeah,
I love puns in general.
yeah, I like a good punny time. Oh, by the way, I don't know where my camera focus is. We moved the camera. So, am I in? So, this company, La Perla Habana, makes some really incredible cigars. They make a white pearl and a black pearl cigar, and they're wonderful. I've never had their classic, so I got a box of them, and this is absolutely delicious. Really nice. It's a good job, you guys. Yeah, the second camera angle might be a little bit different than what we're normally working with. We moved it. It's now attached to a clamping device, clamped to the side of the shed. So it'll bounce less. It appears to be working as far as our eyes can tell. So if you're watching, let us know what you think about the new angle. And I gotta say, I feel better about it being
Yeah.
2.5, 3 feet farther away. Because when I weld, I always worry that I'm going to splash it and crack the lens.
Plus, it makes it a lot easier to walk around in here.
Yeah, we don't have more tripod legs to trip over. Heck, maybe I'll get a bunch more of those clamps and flip all the lights too. There, get rid of all the tripods.
Yeah, I got a film dragger showing up today, so I should be able to start printing the one that I have.
I think I have a full spool, nearly full spool of purple PLA, but I don't want PLA in here. I want ABS. It's gonna get hot. That PLA will melt in here.
Yeah, well, we were thinking about doing it with PLA for now, and then later on down the road switching up to ASA or something.
Did I give you that white spool of filament?
I do have that white spool.
That's ABS.
Yep. I do not have it set up to do ABS right now.
I was just about to say, my printer will do it, but mine's dead, so never mind.
Yeah.
That fancy one of Z's with the infinite Z plane,
That's the one that I have, yeah.
it won't do ABS?
It'll do ABS. I do not have it set up to do that. It outgasses a lot.
One more time?
It outgasses a lot.
Oh, man. Your room's big enough, it won't bother you none.
I'd rather not poison my dogs.
I used to run ABS all the time, never bothered anything. I would think if you were in an area this big and you had 3 or 4 printers going, printing really big stuff, all of ABS, and you had all the doors and windows closed, and your dogs were sleeping under the table that had the 5 or 8 printers on it, then it might be a problem. But in your living room, crack the window, you'll be fine.
Yeah, I don't want to crack a window in the middle of winter. Utilities are expensive.
I guess. Build a styrofoam box, put it over the top of it, and then pour it like into the bathroom and turn on the bathroom fan.
I essentially have plans to do something like that. They have a charcoal activated filter, so do 4 sides, just normal, the filter, box fan on top of that to draw the air out through the filter. People say that works out plenty well.
That could work. It was fun having a 3D printer, but it's not like you get your desktop printer and you plug it in, you set it up, and you can just print to it all willy-nilly, and it just shreds out papers and papers and papers, and it's fine. 3D printer, you have to constantly recalibrate and re-level and yada, yada, yada. It's just such a pain in the butt.
Well, that's because you got into it early, like you did with Linux. Nowadays, there are a lot more like Windows PCs. If you buy a Bamboo Lab printer, there's problems with Bamboo Lab because they want to control everything, but you can buy one of their printers, set it up, and send something to it, and it will go, and it will print.
I just remember I printed this one doodad, and it ran for like an hour and a half. Beautiful print. Beautiful. So, and I had even printed these dealies that clipped onto my bed that held like a level bubble gauge in it. And so, got it all leveled all the way around, did this hour and a half print, came out so nice. Like, boom, all right, time to do that 6-hour print. Again, checked my level, all is good, nothing changed. I just hit print, file number 2 instead of file number 1, and it got going. I got good bed adhesion with the raft. I watched it for about a half an hour. Awesome. Came back and checked it out about an hour and a half. Cool, we're cruising. Come back in about 2 hours. Cool, we're cruising. I gotta leave to go do some stuff. Went and ran some errands. Came back like an hour, hour and a half later. And what had happened was it came off the bed and then started skating around with it. And the extruder kept extruding, and then it encased the entire nozzle in melted plastic, which then became hardened plastic on the outside. It's like, nope, I tore it all apart and just threw the nozzle away and bought a better nozzle. Like, nuts to this. also, 3D printers are very much a solution begging for a problem.
Yes. Yes, they are.
It's not exactly a practical thing to have in your house.
It's
Unless you're a tinkerer or a builder or like a cosplayer that you want to make all your own stuff. Or
all relative to use case. For most of your people, it's a luxury. But for what I'm doing with the car, and I need to prototype brackets and see if everything prints or fits before I go and actually have made up metal, it makes sense.
yeah, I get that. I think what I'm saying is it's best to have a friend with a 3D printer.
Yeah.
I think the most practical thing I ever did with mine when I was running it, a coworker had the latch on his VW Jetta that opened the trunk lid. Like if you put the key in the trunk lid and turned it, it would open, no problem. But if you hit the button, the little latch, that would bump it. Trying to burn off some of the smoke here. That latch broke, and he went to the Jetta dealership and said, "Hey, this little arm broke." And they're like, "Oh, to replace that, you have to replace the entire mechanism, and that's like $475, please." And he's like, "Well, nuts to that." And he was lamenting to me one day at work about it. And I was like, "Well, heck, what's it look like? I'll bet you I can 3D print you one." He's like, "Really think so?" I'm like, and he showed me the broken piece. I'm like, "Yeah, it's just a piece of plastic. Like, I can make plastic things." So I did a test one and brought it to him for size comparison and fit and finish. Not finish, but it's like, "Yeah, it works." He's like, "Will you make me 5 more?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." So I made him 5 more, and I did the math. It cost me about 28 cents to make all 6 of these things that he wanted. And he's like, "All right, how much do you want for all these?" I'm like, "It cost me like 28 cents of plastic. I don't care. It's not a big deal." And he reached into his wallet and he was like, "No, the smallest thing I have 20. Here you go." I'm like, "I don't want your money." He's like, "Take it," and he just walked away. Alright, so I bought a new spool of filament. That's how I got my purple spool of filament. Like, make him 6 doodads, and I got an entire spool of filament out. We're moving over here. Let's make this metal round now. Oh, we got so close to toasting this. Some square bits in there. This wax on my anvil is annoying me. That works better as a wax cutter, wax scraper, than it does a hot cut. I do need to make a new one. Let's turn that heat down just a little bit. She's running on me now.
So just to throw this into the YouTube world, somebody
Uh-oh. What do I do now?
somebody has talked about making another hammer.
Oh, those are whispers.
Not anymore.
Oh, why'd you have to blow up my spot like
Because I want you to suffer like I suffered.
that? I suffered before you suffered. That's how I got this hammer. Suffering.
I want you to suffer again. Just kidding.
But yeah, I think I want to make a new hammer. Not to race this one, but you know, to go through the process again. Good learning experience.
Make yourself a nice cross beam.
Well, kinda. But not really. But kinda. I think we'll start curling that. So we used to make rounding hammers like this. One side flat on the other side, and there you go. That's the hammer. Well, soon after I made this hammer, the guys that make hammers that I know changed up their process just a little bit when dressing the hammer on the grinder before hardening and all that stuff. They dressed these edges here to be more of a peen. So to peen something, you would just hold your hammer on the side and use the edge as a peen. So that'll be the next hammer. It'll be dressed like this will be enough of the loop. Yeah, we'll see what that does. We'll quench this off quick so I can hold on to it. How is this so sweet? Alright, we're gonna let that chill out for a second so I don't burn the heck out of my hand. So yeah, I'm thinking I'm gonna target like a 3.5 pound hammer next time. I'm gonna make the handle from a block of wood and do the whole thing soup to nuts, kind of like Brittany did.
That should be fun.
Yeah. So I'll show up to Rob's shop with a box of cigars and use that to bribe him into running me through the paces again.
Kind of hoping Rob was in the chat.
Right.
Which is a good question. Is there anybody in the chat?
No, not right now. So what are we gonna do to get a little bit better internet out here?
The intent is to when I run power out here, run Ethernet with it, and get another access point that'll just be the shop's access point, and it won't be part of my Wi-Fi mesh. It'll be a separate.
So we gotta wait for springtime.
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah, we'll do it then.
Our audio sounds pretty good, but we're clicking and we got a warning on our stream saying, hey, it's not gonna be super great.
Yeah, we'll probably like put a Wi-Fi access point up on that joist there, and it'll be more than enough for in here. Yeah, a little bit chilly. Oh, the door's open. That's probably why.
Yeah, it was getting pretty smoky.
I think we're probably in the clear if you want to. I know there's still a little bit of smoke back there, but that's pretty stale. It's not moving. So yeah, might make a hammer. Probably won't film it.
Yes, we will.
I mean, if you want to show up with your phone and your gimbal.
That was kind of my plan. Until, it gets really hot and then I go stand in front of the fan.
Never gonna let me live that one down, are you?
Nope.
It was hot in the shop and Brittany was sweating and making her hammer, and I got a little warm sitting next to the fire, so I went over and stood in front of this big industrial fan and pulled my shirt open, so my shirt was all big and puffy, and I cooled down a little bit. At any point in time, you could have set the hammer to the side and did the same thing and then reheated it. You probably would have caught some flack for it, but you could have.
She's like, oh, it's fine. And now it just gives me ammo and I get to give you shit about it, crap about it, stuff about it all the time.
What was that?
Well, there goes monetizing this one.
Yeah. I wonder why I can't get any sponsors.
Need your baby wipes?
No, I just realized I got a whole bunch of thick stuff.
Ooh. No, I don't think I sent it to the WhatsApp chat. But I have a prototype started for the shirt.
Oh, you did not send it to the WhatsApp chat. You just sent it to me the other night. So yeah, prototype is prototyping. I think it's pretty good. I can't wait to see it come to life. And when it comes to life and it becomes a thing, I'll wear it during whichever live stream is closest to that shirt being made.
Yep. Just gotta get that heat press set up.
Yeah.
So I can practice on it.
We'll take some good pictures of it, post it up on the Etsy shop, and then do the live stream that day.
Word to all your hammerings.
Yep. Take it right out of the gate. Let's break it all up. Fix it. Oh, I think it's probably the wax that transferred to the metal and is transferring to my hand. But yeah, the shirt, that'll get added to the Etsy shop, and then we'll premiere it on the live stream. And maybe as a promotion for like the first week that it's on the shop, we'll do like a 10% discount code on it or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty good design. Can't wait to see it in real life.
You know, set up that heat press Thursday while you're
There you go.
and finally grab those bags of that bag of t-shirts out.
I'd also like a new one of these too.
Yeah, I need to reach out to Jess and have her send me her design over.
Yeah, the cricket design.
Yeah.
So the next one, we'll make it round again. Do-do-do-do.
Got real smoky real quick.
Yeah, real quick. I thought the fire was running better than that. I like to check to make sure that the nozzle is still attached to the fan. But I don't want to open this big door. Everyone left me. Levi is using the human door as bellows to try and suck the smoke out. I guess I shouldn't hammer. I don't want to blow out your eardrums if you're running headphones and I can't reach the soundboard. But my eyes are starting to burn, so that's fine. Why are we so smoky? Did the fan disconnect from the...
No. fine. It's still blowing out air. It's not blowing out. I'm wondering if it's like a kink in the tube because it's blowing out air, but it's
Oh, it always blows out air. You don't get a lot. You don't see the smoke.
okay. I don't know. I have no answer for you.
I put my jacket back on. I'm just gonna make this round now. I don't know how I did it, but I got a little bit of a twist in there. But once it's round, you won't know the twist is there because it's all going to be round. Oh, well, thank you. That's very kind of you.
I'm nice sometimes.
You're always nice. So Rob was doing a live stream last week, and it's just Rob and his camera and his equipment, and he sets up one camera in one direction, and that's what you get, you know, and he does work and stuff. And there is some guy commenting on his video that he needs to interact with his audience more. Like, I'm working here, like, and his phone's over there kind of thing, so he can't just so easily like, monitor the chat, which I feel that I've done the stream by myself a couple of times and have to try and monitor the chat while doing work and stuff. But yeah, the guy was giving him a bunch of guff about not interacting with his audience more. So Rob checked out his videos, and it was all just a bunch of woodworking videos of him cutting wood. Like, no interaction, no live stuff, just like, all right, guy. And he was apparently trying to give him a bunch of tips on how to do better. Do another round of rounding that out. I got a weird flat spot. That was distracting me. I hit the anvil a couple times with my hammer handle. It's like, what is going on? Sorry, it's my first time blacksmithing. Oh, I got a text message at some point, so I'm going to check that real quick. Like, okay. Nothing important.
Looks like we got another viewer. I wish I could see who was watching.
There's got to be a something or other that you can run that'll show you who is watching. There's got to be an app we can install or put on the laptop or something to monitor the chats. And Rob uses this cool thing that will actually put the chat on the screen. So it like scrolls so you don't have to be watching the chat. You can just see it pop up like subtitles. Yeah, weird flat spots. I'm gonna let that get really good more and try and squish that all out. So yeah, stuff and things.
Things and stuff.
Should really get like a big cue card of like chat topics so when my brain goes blank, like, oh yeah, we can talk about Mississippi mudslides or something.
What?
I got nothing. I don't know. I don't know what that is either. Sounds like it could be a drink.
Sex thing.
Oh, I was thinking it sounds more like a cocktail. Walk up to a bar and be like, yeah, can I get a Mississippi mudslide? But we don't promote the use of alcohol on this channel.
No social lubricants here.
No.
Someone doesn't wake
We're
up.
this
very-
weird sober.
Pardon?
We're this weird sober.
Yeah, we don't need the help.
We're so committed to being sober on the channel that we just don't drink at all anymore.
Yeah.
That's wildly inaccurate.
Wild. No drinking in the shop. That's verboten. It's a little bit hotter. Yeah. The kegerator's going very well, I think. When we swap out the keg, I am going to replace the O-rings in the faucet. Get rid of that drippy drip. The winerator has been a nice addition to the bar as well.
You got that in already?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's got some wine and a box of Guinness in it, and cocktail fixins.
Yeah. Pretty nice. Blue cheese stuffed olives.
Yeah.
Some vermouth.
Vermouth.
And
I'm so ready for the weather to be nice. And I'm ready for it to be hot. Like, both the doors open and the fans going, that'd be nice. Probably won't be able to run that fan with the microphone right there in the display next to it.
I'll tell you, my first trip back from Florida was really difficult. I was in Orlando, it was 75, 80 degrees there. Come up to the terminal for my flight and look at the board and it says it's 5 degrees in Indianapolis. I'm like, why am I doing this?
yeah, I talked to my dad yesterday, who's also in Florida, and he was like, "What's the weather been like up there?" And I was like, it's still consistently in the 30s. We had like a couple of warmish days for this time of year, but
Yeah, like 2 weeks ago, we had like a 65-degree day or something. That was amazing.
I wanted to warm up. I want to go fishing again.
I'm already looking at fishing boats on Facebook Marketplace.
I know you've sent me a couple.
Yeah, I like that black one I sent you, but you're right, it was a bit pricey for what you get.
It was nice. It was just like $300 above what it should have been.
Yeah. $300-$400 cheaper would have been made it better.
where are we gonna put a fishing boat? Is my question.
Where you park your Jeep? We need a laugh track button.
I mean, technically with this soundboard, we could do that.
Yeah, because you can attach your phone to it and play it from your phone.
Yeah.
Or we could get the old soundboard out that has the record function and wire it in there somehow.
Yeah.
But no, I figure if we end up with another boat on a trailer, the utility trailer will go from the side yard to the backyard. Like, bring it back here and put the boat where the trailer is. My problem is I don't want yet another thing to have to register. Like, I have my Wrangler, I have my truck, I have my sailboat trailer, my utility trailer. I don't want to add a boat and another trailer. I wonder if we could put a trolling motor on a fishing boat, but somehow disguise it like a sail. Like, no, Mr. DNR officer, it's totally a sailboat. As we putter off.
Of course, we can put a trolling motor up the mast, and then the boom, you just control the boom.
Man, there is no wind out today, but that fishing boat is sailing across the lake real fast. Which way is my curl? I want to make sure I get this curl directly or correctly. There we go. That one's actually better. All right, cool. So now we got our doodads. That's warm. Mostly in line. So now we're going to get this warm. We're going to curl it over the horn. And then we'll get this end warm and curl it over the horn. Then we'll get the middle hot and bring it together. Let's see if I can get this all to line up on the first try. And since we got a big piece of metal here, I'll try to do real big lobes.
You do like your big lobes.
And I cannot lie.
The other forgers can't deny.
When a tipper walks in with I had nothing.
Itty bitty point.
And a round lobe in your face, you get.
Sprung still works.
I'm sprung.
The look of disappointment she's giving us is great. I wish we could have got that on camera.
That's why we need a third camera. We get a reaction cam on Brittany.
I think that'd get me in some trouble. Especially with me being in control of the cameras.
Yeah, it would never land on you. Which is funny. I was at a meeting at an old job, and we were required to have our cameras on during this meeting. And I struggle with keeping my mouth in line. When people say stupid stuff, I have a hard time not calling attention. For instance, I was in another call one time, and this guy described a process that he wanted to put in place and what it was going to need to make this all come together. And I said to myself, yeah, that, because it was so stupid. And I heard my own voice in my earpiece, and I immediately looked, and I was not muted like I thought I was. I was like, oh, excuse me, my apologies. And the project manager's like, it's all right, Jesse. Like, sorry, I'll go back on mute now. We never did do that process. I think everyone was thinking it, and I was just the jerk that said it out loud like this. But so anyways, I was in this call with my camera on, and I was working on stuff, and so I'm looking at this screen, I got the camera over here, and the meeting was over here, and somebody said something really, really stupid, and I apparently gave the camera a look like this idiot kind of thing. And 30 seconds later, I got an IF from a coworker. He's like, Jesse, your camera's on? We all saw that. It's like, all right, sometimes I could filter my mouth, but I apparently cannot filter my face.
Yeah. A lot of people are complaining that they've forgotten to use how to use their inside expressions or their at work expressions from being at work from home for so long.
I got yelled at one time by my boss and the director that was over him. I had a meeting with my boss that I had been working for about a month to get this meeting with my new boss. Like, we had this great, amazing boss on the team I was on, and then he got shifted to a new project, and then they gave us this other boss. And I was never particularly impressed with him. I was certainly not impressed with his team and how he ran it. But anyways, he became my boss. And I tried very hard to get a meeting with him, and it took about a month for him to finally accept a meeting invite and then show up to the meeting, right? So I had the meeting set for like 11 a.m. And at 10:57 or something, he rescheduled it for 3 o'clock. Like, all right, if he shows up, fine. Like, let's push it back a few more hours. And I went to talk to him about a lot of stuff that we had in queue and we were going to do. And he pops in on the call. I was like, oh, hey, nice to see you. Hey, how you doing? Oh, I'm great. Blah, blah, blah. And then the director popped on. It's like, oh, this conversation doesn't require a director. I was like, hey, director's name? He's like, yeah, Jesse, sorry to do this to you, but this meeting's not going the way you think it's going to go. We have some other things we need to talk about. Like, what? And he says, well, it's been brought to our attention that on a couple of the larger team meetings, you have been seen on camera smoking cigars. And we can't have that. We've had complaints about you smoking cigars on camera. And my first response, I kid you not, was, what, was the smoke bothering them? I'm in my house.
Right?
I own this house. I can smoke in any room I want to. I do what I want. Like, are you telling me I can't smoke in my own house? And like, whoa, no, we're not saying that at all. Just if you're gonna smoke. And he's like, heck, I like to vape, but I never pull my vape out during meetings. I'm like, it gives me something to do so I don't fall asleep in those huge meetings. That's got like 150 people. Who's gonna notice me, right? They're like, well, if you gotta smoke, then just make sure you turn your camera off. Okay, guys.
That's
Sorry.
ridiculous.
Like, and they were so mad. Like, they give me a stern talking to about smoking cigars in my own house. How dare I?
If you're not failing to hit production numbers, why give you crap about how you conduct your business when you're working from home?
Well, I'm in my house. I'm not in a shared office space. I'm not in an building that the company owns. I'm in my house, smoking a cigar. Like, how does that bother anybody else? Like, nobody. That job is full of a lot of stupid little things like that. Let's start this curl a little bit. Yeah, start it off real easy, and then just kind of drape it on over. We'll get that hot and we'll keep working that over. So a lot of managers at this particular office had pictures of them hauling up their fish that they just caught on their boat, on their fishing trip and stuff. And there's a little bit of, oh, hey, so-and-so, I see you got a new fish picture. My fish is still bigger. Oh, yeah? Well, check this out. They changes, he's got a bigger fish. You know, it's like this whole thing. So I went on a hog hunting trip down in Texas, and I ended up taking a 150-pound hog. And when they're processing it, they put it on like those stretchers like they do deers where you put the back legs, and they hoisted it up with a winch. And I said, hey, before you get to working on that, hold on. I gave my phone to somebody, and I grabbed a hold of one of the ropes and stood next to it. And it looks like I'm holding up this giant pig. I'm obviously not, but so I made that my profile picture. I'm like, you guys got fish, but boom, my animal's bigger and stuff. And I got I had that for like a month. I got a nasty gram from HR that said that I was violating the profile picture policy and that I needed to remove it immediately or disciplinary action would be taken against me. So I set my picture to some like default picture I found on the internet where it's just like a silhouette of a person with like a gray background. Like, all right. But that was also when they're promoting, hey, everybody, have your cameras on for most meetings. I have a big canvas print of that same picture that used to hang in the lounge in the house. So I went up and got it and brought it downstairs and put it on the wall right behind me. So whenever my camera was on, that picture would be in the shot over my shoulder.
Oh, that's
I
great.
swear, you are the pettiest person I know.
Well, that's not very pretty. That's kind of heart shaped. We might have to adjust that when we get it all closed up. That'd be worse. Well, let's get the other side hot and curl it up. Get that in the old quinch. Let that chill out a minute. It's not so much about being petty. I just feel like if you're going to be ridiculous, let's be ridiculous. If that's how you want to play that, I'll do it. I'm a very reasonable person.
You just return the same energy.
Yeah, it's funny how people get mad at you when you give them their attitude back. Like, now it's a problem, you know. They can give you attitude, but you give it back, you're real upset about that. Like, you treat me fairly, I'll treat you fairly. Stop yelling at me about cigars and leave my pig alone, okay? If anything, my picture's better because my animal was dead and not suffering, but all those fishes are gasping for air and suffering as they slowly die for a photo opportunity. At least I had the good decency to kill my animal first.
Like, I could understand them having an issue if you had your rifle in the picture as well, but if it's the picture I'm thinking of, it's just you next to it. There's no firearms or anything.
Yeah, nothing objectionable about it unless you're
I don't even think there's much blood in the picture.
There's a little. There's a little. But yeah, it's not like I'm holding like a big AK-47 and I'm shirtless with a cigar and a bandolier across my chest and like standing on like baby pig carcasses in the picture or anything. It's nothing.
Sorry, you have a new AI prompt to do for him. That way he has this.
The last time I used
Facilitate
AI
that.
to alter a photo of me, it came out very flattering.
It's a very nice photo. Is it the one I'm thinking of?
Yeah, the
Yeah, it's
Renaissance photo.
Yeah.
Yeah, AI was very kind to me on that one. What are we waiting on? This thing to cool down? I'm not happy with that curve, but we might be able to adjust it. All right, let's curve up this other side.
It looks like an umbrella.
It looks like a what?
Umbrella handle.
Umbrella handle. A little bit. On today's stream, we're going to adjust the other side into an umbrella.
That'd be pretty impressive to take that little stick and turn it into a mini umbrella. Be a pain in the butt to do.
Add
Yeah.
it to the document.
Nope.
Do it on Google Sheets.
Nope. Not doing an
Doing it.
umbrella.
Doing it.
No.
Rude.
I don't even get access to your project list.
I haven't actually made that yet.
Just think, if you would let me be a part of it, it'd already be made. Anybody in the chat saying things?
Not yet. There's somebody watching.
Probably Ian.
Probably.
Hi, Ian. From across the street.
If it's not Ian, I'm not Ian.
Yeah, hi, not Ian. Thanks for hanging out. Say hi. Make yourself be known. But fortunately, I don't work at that company anymore. So it's a heck with them. Yeah. Get a little smoky over here again. That heat fan that you keep trying to talk me into getting that'll like blow heat out. I should get one and put it on the inside so the heat causes the fan to
Blow through the stack.
Yeah.
I mean, not a bad idea.
I mean, when the weather gets nice, we'll eventually just pop a hole somewhere and it'll.
Yeah. Be a lot more effective when you're not running through 20 feet of hose.
Yeah, and going up and down.
Yeah.
And then slightly up again. Problem is I don't have a lot of room, so I'm gonna have to find a small blower motor that'll do it and not give up on me like the last one did.
Yeah.
How far into the stream are we? How long have we been running?
Just over an hour.
Usually we're a little bit more chatty in the comments by now.
Yeah, but I mean, last week I feel like people didn't start talking until
Second half.
Yep.
What if I turn up the heat over here a little bit? It will blow out some of this smoke. So, we'll put the project on hold for just a second, see if we can't blast out some of this smoke. Get this roaring.
One, what you're doing with the door just reminds me of like a smoke detector going off. Like the kitchen towels.
Yeah.
Leave it. I was about to do that with your jacket, and then you were like, "I'm not going to put my jacket on." And I was like, "Oh, I guess I don't get to do that."
Like, I've got some smoke that's like pooling right in there, so I wonder if I got like the smoke is blocked in there and it just needs to get blown through kind of thing. So we'll hit the air up real good and hot, see if we can persuade it to move along.
Yeah. Like your idea is pretty good with what you got going on. I just don't think it quite has the pull that we're looking for.
I think it'd be better if the hose was shorter.
Yeah.
But it's starting to clear up the smoke inside the forge a little bit, so I think here in a few minutes it'll clean up.
Plus, in the summer when we put in gable vents, it'll make
That'll be very helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be super fun. Yeah, some of the smoke's starting to clear off from inside the forge now, so we'll let it run a little bit longer. Get it real getting hot up there. Yeah, while we wait, check out Coyote Metal Co. on the old Instagrams. Good kid, makes amazing tools, and great hammers too. Holy crap, he makes some very beautiful hammers. DB_Forge makes some beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. Then of course, Sharp Bend Forge. Check them out on the YouTubes and I think the Facebook. Custom Blacksmithing in Atlanta, Indiana. Definitely check them out. Come show up on a Thursday night and I'll show you how to make some stuff because I'm there most Thursdays. And then for all your real estate needs, if you want to buy or sell or invest, I guess, in some kind of real estate, hit up my buddy Sean Daniels over at Sean Daniels Real Estate. Tell him I said Jeff. I don't get any kickback, but tell him I said Jeff. And of course, brimstoneforge.us. That'll lead you to all the things, the TikToks, the Instagram, the Etsy, and of course the YouTube channel, which you've already found if you're seeing this. So yeah, if you want to see something on the store, or if you have questions or whatever, I'm not that hard to get a hold of. So shoot me a message, shoot me a text, a DM, whatever you kids do these days. Let me know.
Slide into your DMs.
Say what?
Slide into my DMs.
Slide into those DMs. I think that's what the kids say, right? Slide into the DMs is busting.
I was listening to a rant that they're thinking about making chat a fourth person passive now from everybody using it to talk to, hey, how's chat going today? Because it's different enough from using something like y'all or them or whatnot.
I didn't understand anything you just said.
Fair enough.
Can we try that one more time, please? I'll pay more attention this time, I promise.
So they're talking about treating chat as a fourth person perspective. a noun for a fourth person because so many people are using it in their everyday nomenclature, not just when they're on live stream or whatnot. But it's become very integral into the way that the younger generation talks. But we don't really have a way in normal English language to describe talking to a group of people that we don't actually see.
So they're trying to give it a pronoun?
Pretty much.
No.
So that comes from that
Like,
one.
no, I just don't get, like, it's the chat. It's not a person. It's
a group of people. It's like talking to y'all, but y'all is usually referring to a group of people that you are directly interacting with, whereas chat is more like a comedy actor addressing his audience, which is a little bit more nuanced.
another sign I'm old, I just don't understand. Okay, I guess. What the heck is this? Yeah. Again, showing my age. Like, I just missed out on the BBSs for the most part when I entered the internet. And BBSs had led way to traditional forums as we know now, and chat rooms. Spent a lot of time in chat rooms when I was a teenager.
You still spend a lot of time in chat rooms. Or what they've adapted into anyways.
Are you suggesting like the Teams I have to use at work is just like a big chat room? I'd love to argue with you about that, but you're right, it is kind of a chat room.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, say I don't know in chat rooms as a teenager that I do as an adult.
I mean, that's true for pretty much everything we do.
Yeah, it was uneventful because that curl was just a little bit out of line. So I was seeing if I could just gently massage it back into place. When it gets curled and then I bring them back, I'll probably still have to adjust to get them on the same plane. But yeah, I think we'll start curling this over. I don't know if you all heard that, but that made a really cool sound. Yeah. It sounded like snapping a spring. That was really cool.
That's a much tighter curl than your other one.
It is, and I like it so much better too. I'm gonna back it off and make it bigger, and then open it up a little bit. But yeah, that one did come out much nicer than the other one. Much nicer. Dang, I wish that would have been the first one.
You'll be happy to know that that sound came through on the microphone.
Oh, it was so cool. It was like snapping a spring. I had to stop hammering because I got distracted by this. This is awesome. I used to hang out in this one chat room, and somehow somebody in my group of friends was told or figured out how to boot people out of the chat room. And the chat room that we hung out in, you could only have 20 people in the room at a time. And so like you try to get in and be like, chat room full, too bad. And then they'd knock you back to the main page. And so some of my friends in that chat room I had on Yahoo Messenger, and I'd reach out and be like, hey, I'm trying to get into the chat, but it's full. And they'd be like, all right, give me a minute. All right, try now. And then boom, I was in. And what you would do is you would click on a person's name and click the IM button so you could send them a direct message. You would drop down a line, so shift enter to drop down a line, and then you would type 421, 471, 471, and then drop down a line, and then whatever you typed on that third line, it would pop up on their screen. Like the chat room was blue bars around the top and bottom, and then the chat window was white. But when you're loading in, the middle part would be gray with black letters, like loading or putting you in the room now kind of thing. So when you send them that message, that square, it would go to that square box with whatever you typed. And then they only had an exit button, and it would knock them out of the chat. So we used to knock people out of the chat all the time so we could get our friends in there. Now it's starting to look ugly like the other one. I think I'm going to clean up the first one a little bit and try to match it to the second one. And then we'll fold it in. So back to the old quench. But yeah, good old chat room.
I think we should move the quench bucket over by where you're keeping the coal, because then we have it in the camera more or less.
Yeah, I was just thinking when I went over to it about putting it right next to this other blue barrel.
Yeah, but even then it wouldn't be in frame.
Is it? Huh.
And
Well,
if I wasn't zoomed into the angle on camera too, then you can see it, but
that zoom's more important than saying quench bucket.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe when we move the Magner's keg in here to be a quench tank, maybe it'll go right there. It's gonna be a big quench tank.
plus behind you is it's less likely to catch some accidental metal.
I don't
That
know, it
works
just makes it more challenging for them.
Very true.
They're making fun of me because I have a habit. When we used to do the stream outside or forging outside, the quench bucket used to live right about here. I don't know if you can see it yet, but it used to live right about there. And I had a real nasty habit of cutting something on the hot cut, and it would jump into the quench tank, or it'd come out of the tongs, or I would just have butterfingers, and it would fall into the quench tank. Ruined a lot of good steel that way. So, yeah, that's why they're making fun of me. Quench tanks with a lid are really handy. Yeah. Think we're quenched enough over here. Yeah. Now let's see if we can make this ugly duckling match the other one. I'm not going for twins, just sisters, I guess you could say. And you want to stick your hands in the forge proper for a second? You're welcome to.
It's tempting.
Go for it. We got a while for that metal to heat up, so dive on in. You guys haven't seen him for a while. That's Levi.
Probably can't see much of me the way it is.
See enough.
He used to do stuff with me from time to time, but I think the camera scared him off.
As we went through and developed more, it was less you sharing the angle and doing stuff. I figure when we get onto some of the other projects, we'll probably incorporate some of that style of you teaching me what to do and then me doing it on camera.
Yeah, maybe we'll make that a more regular thing where it's like, okay, we're gonna make
Your arm swing or
chisels or punches, and I'll walk you through, and we'll do like follow the leader style, like we did the lantern hooks and the S hooks and stuff.
I felt like that was a pretty fun format, but then we also got more complicated and needed to
Yeah.
watch more things.
But yeah, we can do another follow the leader style thing. Whew. We got close to burning this. Yeah, we'll just make it all straight. And then we'll try it again.
You put that bend in, you can take that bend out.
That's exactly right. Heck, maybe on Monday, since I'm not working next Monday, thank you, President's Day. Maybe I'll go to the metal market and get a bunch of sticks and then knock out 300 chain links or however many more I need to make.
Well, when I checked the other day, you were at 297 on TikTok.
So yeah, I need to make about 300 or so.
And the last I looked, which was a while ago, on YouTube, you were at like 44 followers.
Yeah, so I think I just need to make about 300 or so. So I get about 150 feet of metal and then borrow somebody's chop saw and 6-inch links. I don't want to hot cut all that.
Right?
That would take forever.
Little better. Ran out of here.
You got the happy sound again.
I did.
I was gonna say before, I feel like you're gonna be chasing that sound now.
Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing that Anvil's made. But that was a nice surprise. I gotta say, this cigar was delightful. And it only went out that one time because I wasn't paying attention. So that was on me, not the cigar. Unlike last week where it was puff, puff, light, puff, puff, light.
Time's probably about 5.
I like to watch the streams like a few days later just for like audio issues and camera angles and stuff like that. And as I was watching the stream, I found myself getting annoyed and frustrated again, watching me get annoyed and frustrated by relighting that cigar every time I picked it up. I still haven't hit up customer service and be like, man, you sent me a bummer box. Like, every cigar I pulled out of that box acts exactly like that. So there's a quality control issue there somewhere. I don't know if they're wound too tight or what.
Or maybe not dried out quite enough or something.
Like, they stay properly humidified in my humidor.
Was the door closed all the way?
Yeah, I put a bunch of cigars in the humidor today and then refilled the water in the humidifier and I left the door cracked a little bit. It happens. All right, let's see if we can't do some stuff here. I think that's as close as I'm going to get it. It's a little bit big, but it's still got a nice swoop to it. Cool. So now we're going to quench that because I will grab the hot end no matter what I do to drink that. And then we will get the middle hot. And then I will probably put it over the horn and grab a pair of tongs and pull it in half. So yeah, we'll let that chill a little bit. Anybody in the chat, or is it still just us?
Somebody's watching, but nobody's in the chat.
If you're watching, say hi. Here you go. If you're in the chat, describe a funny video that you saw on the internet that when you saw it, you had to watch it a million times because it was so funny.
Badger, 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 badger.
Mushroom, mushroom. There was this video when I was in college we found on E-Bombs World, back when that website was relevant.
Showing your age there.
This was back when break.com was called bigboys.com, which sounds like a different kind of website, but it was all just funny videos and stuff. But there's this video we came across on E-Bombs World where it was some teenage kid singing a song. I don't know the whole backstory of it, but the song was called Aisha. And he sings this song, and he's just like, he's not a bad singer, but he's not a good singer either. It's perfectly fine, you know what I mean? And like, he does this weird little dance while he's singing, and at one point he's laying on a bed, and he's like rolling over, like singing about this girl Aisha. And like the print on the bedspread is like baby Minnie Mouse and stuff. It's just, there's so many questions watching this video. And me and my buddies could not get enough of it. One of the guys ripped the audio out of it and turned it into his ringtone for a while. It was a fun video. I think it's still out there if you can find it. According to the singer, Aisha was so sweet and so beautiful. And every day she's like the queen on her throne, I think is the lyric. It had chunks of ice attached to it. All right, so let's get the middle hot. Just saw that in there like a misery with it or something. Or a crosscut saw if you want to be technical.
Whatever you got to do to break your beehive.
It's a bulbous bouffant, not a beehive. Which was another great internet video from way back in the day. What was the name of that group?
The hippopotamus and
Also, somebody just liked something on my Etsy shop. Some chick liked my coffee scoop. Who did that video, Bulbous Bouffant? Now I have to look it up.
it's the same guys that did the baguette song.
Bulbous Bouffant. Vestibules. It was a song by the Vestibules. Am I going to be able to touch that? Maybe. Tune in next week on Dragon Ball Z to see if Jesse burns that crap out of his fingers.
We didn't have enough power-up sounds for that.
It was over 9,000. Which I read somewhere that was a mistranslation from its native Japanese, I believe. That he doesn't say over 9,000. He actually says over 8,000. Which technically is still right, but not right.
Yeah. Could be. I don't.
Oh, am I sparkling already? I just put that in there. Ooh, ooh. And I put my hammer away. So we'll just get that a little bit warm. And we'll do some hammer type things, which will make the lobes collapse on each other. But I want to get a nice fine point. So then we'll get that point in there, and then we'll stretch it back out. So I've never been one for anime. Not to say that it's a bad medium, it's just never really been my thing. And
Not shocking from the guy who doesn't like fiction.
I love fiction, I just don't like reading it.
Which is crazy to me.
But, so, every year at Gen Con, they take over a bunch of conference rooms at a nearby hotel, and it's like anime that hasn't quite made it over here yet, kind of stuff. Like stuff that may be popular overseas, or stuff that's really obscure. And we always used to go and check out the cool new anime or whatever. Like, let's give it a try. And I remember we sat through this 1.5 hour long movie that was all subtitles. And the story made absolutely no sense whatsoever. And I was trying really hard to engage in it. Like there's people dressed up like anime characters all around me, and I'm trying to, engage and learn and all that stuff and try to appreciate it as an art, so to speak. And a couple of times, the people I was with, it's like, I get this.
Do you remember what it was?
Not even a little bit, but it wasn't anything that you've ever heard of, I can tell you that. This was a very obscure situation. This is not going the way I want it to. So we'll hit it hard. So, this might come out really terrible. So, maybe don't give this one out, but do better than me. But we were really struggling. What is happening? And so we finally get to the end of it. Well, that was really pretty, but that story made absolutely no sense whatsoever. And we're all talking what was that? What was that whole subplot thing? That didn't, none of that came together as a story. What the heck is this? And this guy sitting behind us leaned forward and tapped me on the shoulder, and I looked back at him. He goes, so you had a hard time understanding that, huh? And I said, I'm hoping you did. He goes, they downloaded that last night, and the download was done about 3 a.m. And then they stayed up all night translating it and writing those subtitles themselves. He says, and they did a piss poor job of translating it. He goes, that's not what they were saying for most of that. I was like, speak Japanese? He's like, yeah, I studied in Japan for 4 years. I'm fluent. None of that was right. That makes sense now. It was just really, really translated.
Yeah.
So that's why we were all so incredibly lost.
So
I have that happen with a few things that I downloaded. This is definitely fan subbed. That was bad.
Yeah, it was.
speaking of anime and cosplays and Gen Con and whatnot, you seen Full Metal Alchemist, the dog? I saw a TikTok the other day, and it was a little girl that cosplayed as the dog. And they she's just walking, and there's another person who's dressed up walking towards her. She points and yells no, and she just screams no, and they're like, oh wait, hold on, it's better. And you've seen the Transformer costumes where it's a kid running around and they get in a certain position and it looks just like a car. It's exactly how this was, but with the dog and the wig, and she was just like, no, stop off grabbing me. I have not seen a ton of that series, but I've seen that episode, and that was cruel.
Yeah, that was a very good series. I liked the original. I liked Brotherhood.
saw a picture the other day that was like Pokemon, and it showed like an animal transitioning to a bigger part of like a bigger version of that animal to like a monster version of that animal, and it was all like a linear thing. And it's like Digimon, and it started off with an animal, and then it was like a toaster oven, and then it was like a vacuum, and then it was like an actual oven with a machine gun attached to it. Like, yeah, that's very much what that did. I used to watch Digimon, but that was just because it came on right before Spider-Man.
My mom wouldn't let me watch Pokemon, but she'd let me watch Digimon.
Does that make sense?
Well, because in Digimon, you got transported into the digital world, so it was all fake.
Oh, it's not real. What was her problem? That they're not monsters in real life, or
I don't know, some relative Christian reference. Take your pick. Same reason why I wasn't allowed to watch Power Rangers.
what's wrong with Power Rangers?
Whatever the chick's name was.
Rita Repulsa?
Yep, looked like a demon.
I mean, there were like some demon type things on there. I mean,
Yeah.
like Lord Zed was a pretty scary dude, but it was hardly sacrilegious. All right, so this isn't turning out like I wanted to, and it's fine that it kind of looks like a weirdy grappling hook. But what's nice is I should have welded that. That would have been real cool. But we're gonna get this hot, and then we're gonna bend these back out, and it should be heart shaped. I wasn't allowed to watch Beavis and Butthead.
Ren and Stimpy was one I was allowed to watch.
That didn't land on my parents' radar, so that wasn't a problem.
Yeah, you didn't miss much. I did not like Ren and Stimpy.
But everyone wants a log. And who doesn't love two stupid dogs?
Is
That
what
one
they're
was
supposed
pretty
to be?
funny.
What was that?
I said, is that what they're supposed to be? Dogs?
Oh no, so Ren and Stimpy was whatever the heck they were. But as a part of their larger show, they used to have these short segments of two stupid dogs. And it was just two dogs that would do stupid stuff. Like one episode, they wanted to get into a store to steal some candy. But when they walked on in front of the door wouldn't open, but they saw people walk through. So they went and got boots and put boots in front of the door, and then the door opened, and then they went in. It's like, it's just stupid dogs. I was allowed to watch The Simpsons, though. I got to stay up late, like a half hour past my bedtime, because it came on Sunday nights. And so I used to get to stay up late to watch that. And then I was just telling Brittany about it the other night when we're going to straighten out that. Or we can throw it on the floor.
Drop
And-
Forge.
Yeah, just checking gravity. The night that Michael Jackson's Black or White premiered, the music video premiered. Oh, let's break it. After The Simpsons one Sunday night, so I got to stay up extra late to watch that too. We're gonna get that point hot again and see if we can't straighten it out. And then it's a heart. I might heat up those lobes and bring it down a little bit more. I don't know. How long are we going to do the stream?
Hour and a half.
Hour and a half? I might be able to do it and keep it under 2 hours. It'd be really nice to get my post vise going, because that would be really nice. I could just clamp in that point and I'm going to put my post vise back together because it's in about 400 different pieces right now. So I'm going to put it back together, throw it in a truck, and take it down to my dad's shop. Like, here you go. Build me a nice wood base for it. Then we're going to put it on those caster wheels that fold up or down. So put the caster wheels down, skate it around, pull the wheels up, it'll stay put.
Sounds like a good plan.
I think so. No, that doesn't look too bad. And I think I will bring those curls in just a little bit more. Why not? See if I can do it without ruining it. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Doop, doop, doop. You know what's fun about the heart? The first heart I made was when I was still very new to blacksmithing, and I was just starting to branch out away from using a gas forge and using a coal forge. And the first heart I made was the first thing I made in the coal forge where I did turn into a sparkler at any point in time during the project. I was very excited about that. That heart hangs up in my mom's house now down in Florida. Because I'm 40 and I still make things for my mommy. I guess I was 37 when I made that, but still the point stands. Because wait a minute, it's still February. So next month will be 3 years blacksmithing for me.
Nice.
Paul started in February and he kept sending me pictures of the cool stuff he was making. This is dumb. I want to make cool stuff too. He's like, show up one night. So like, it went on for about 3 weeks of him sending me stuff once a week. He'd send me like, check out this cool spatula, check out this cool ladle, check out this like trivet thing is. But it's like, okay, this is dumb. Like, where's this place at? Like, I'm there next time. And they used to do beginners classes on Tuesdays and advanced classes on Thursdays. And like 2 or 3 weeks in, Paul started going to the advanced class too. And then I started going to the beginners class. And he kept saying like, come out on Thursdays too. Come out, or was it Thursday? Yeah, it's Thursday. He's like, come out on Thursdays too. Yada yada. I'm like, no way. Like, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I don't need to do it. Then they canceled the beginners class and it was all just Thursday night class. Like, oh, I guess I gotta start going to that now. To do it all over again, I would have started going to the Thursday night class much sooner. I like that. Let's do the other one like that. What do you think the odds are of those matching?
None. Looking good is entirely different than matching.
I'd like to throw something at you, but you're right. So. No, that was a really good handle you did, Brittany. I keep looking at that. That came out really nice. And that one came out really nice too. You did a really good job on these.
Thanks.
We need to cut these in half and then turn it into something.
Okay. Sounds like a plan to me.
I don't know what we'll turn that into, but we should definitely do that. So yeah, if you're in Indiana, Thursday nights, about 6 o'clock, show up at Custom Blacksmithing up in Atlanta, Indiana. Atlanta, Indiana. Those blurred together. We have a really good time. And it's not even like the advanced class anymore. It's just we show up and we do stuff. Like, we've had lots of beginners show up. They're like, hi, and they got like a claw hammer. It's like, I want to make stuff. I'm like, well, put that away. Put a proper hammer in your hand. Let's do this. And then like 3 months later, they all come in with like these really heavy tool boxes from all the tools they've been making. I've had to empty out mine so many times because the bucket is bowing at the bottom and it's about to burst out. My handle broke, and so I just taped it back together. I'm gonna have to make a new handle or something. DB_Forge just did a new handle on his bucket, and it's just like a cylinder of metal that he drilled out and then ran it through. So now he's got a metal. And it's like, well, that's not gonna break. Like, the handle will give, or the big part will break out before that handle breaks out. Still nothing in the comments?
Ian just popped in and say nice.
Hey, Ian. Glad you're here. Ian, if you're not working next Monday, I'll all day long. Da-da-da-da. My toes are a little cold.
It got a little bit colder outside as the night went on.
That happens down. Stupid sun.
Stupid winter.
That wasn't quite where I wanted it in the fire. I almost grabbed it with my hand. So yeah, maybe we do conspiracy theories one night. Like the night before, just read up a bunch of stupid conspiracy theories and then we'll talk about them. I just heard a new one on the flat earth thing.
Oh, Lord.
Wow. As I understand it, the world is flat and it's a big disc, because that makes sense, with a huge ice wall all the way around the outside.
Ice wall theory's been around for a long time, and I don't get why they think that makes sense.
Well, here's the new one. There's 2 ice walls. The Earth is actually bigger than we think it is. They've got the normal ice wall, and then they've got several mile band of water outside the ice wall, and then the second ice wall. And only like the super elites are allowed between the ice walls. That's like, what benefit? Like, what could possibly be? Also, why is every celestial body in the solar system round except for our planet is flat?
Right?
Just the dumbing of society. The Flat Earth Society used to be a satirical parody website where people all knew this is fake, but we're just going to make up silly things to be funny. And it used to get people like, it used to be an email forums back in the 90s, like, oh, the Earth is flat. And you'd be like, really, guys? And it's all just like, what's that old, The Onion. It was kind of like The Onion, but more focused. And then now it's like a legit thing that people are spending thousands upon thousands of dollars to try and prove their theories right, and they keep proving themselves wrong.
Right?
Like those cats that, they're like, well, if we set up a wall with a small hole in it here, and then several feet that way another wall with a small hole and a light, and we put the camera on this, and the Earth is flat, so we'll be able to see that light. And they're like, hey guys, I can't see the light. Can you raise up the light real quick? And they raised it, and sure enough, you see it like crest. It's like, you just proved the Earth is round. Good job, guys. And then the guys bought this $20,000 laser gyroscope. $20,000. That's real life money. This isn't like something in a video game. Some dumb individual spent $20,000 on a laser gyroscope, and they said, what is it, 15 degrees? 15 or 12 degrees, something like that. That if they put this laser and they do the thing and it comes off 15 degrees, that proves the Earth is round. And it proved the Earth is round. They're like, oh, we didn't have it calibrated right. We're going to recalibrate it. I've never seen a second test.
Or there's some big name in the Flat Earth Society right now who's getting crowdfunding to build a rocket of his own.
I love this guy so much. I think this guy is the best kind of charlatan. I think this guy is brilliant. So there's this guy, he's an amateur rocket enthusiast. And he's come up with these ridiculous rocket concepts like a steam-powered rocket and all this other stuff. I think this guy just really loves to build rockets, but he's running out of money. So he buddied up with the people that think slower than everyone else at the Flat Earth Society. He's like, hey, if you guys give me a bunch of money, I'll build a rocket that'll get me up high enough and prove the Earth is flat. And they're like, here's all our money, you know? And so he's already built one rocket and blasted up. He's like, oh, I didn't get high enough, guys. Sorry, give me more money. Like, I think this guy's brilliant. I think he's taking these idiots for a ride. And I'm so proud of him for it. Best kind of charlatan.
Agreed.
Let's get the. I'd like a little bit more of a curve here. I kind of got a flat spot, so I'm going to heat that up again and see if I can't get that to curve. If I didn't hate making tongs so much, I would make myself a pair of proper scrolling tongs, and that'd make that a lot easier. But I don't make tongs because they end up looking like this. This was the best pair of tongs I ever made, and I only made half of it. Kurt made the other half. And they were beautifully tuned and straight and wonderful. And then maybe somebody smacked them really good with a tire hammer, and they got out of whack. I won't say who. I don't want to embarrass them publicly. But running that tire hammer was a lot of fun. I don't even know where that piece was. I made the piece is in the garage that I made off the tire hammer. It was supposed to be like a candle sconce holder thing. Now as I was making it, I'm like, this would make a really cool ashtray. So I grabbed some extra material to make another one. And I plan on making another one similar, but use it as an ashtray instead of a piece of metal that sits in the scrap bin. All right, let's see what we can do here. That doesn't want to curve over properly.
Curve up higher than where you want it to bend.
Yeah, it's a little, it looks like a doodled heart, not a proper symmetry. All right, well, I'm relatively happy with that. I'm going to heat the bottom up again so I can close that gap.
Flatten it a bit.
Yeah. Maybe a little bit of a flex in there. It's not like it's a real heart. It's a drawing of a French woman's derriere is what we're making here.
It's an artistic interpretation.
Yeah. Like that's where we get that. Some French guy was like, well, it looks like the derriere of a woman bent over, and that's where we get that from.
I always wondered how we came up with that because it doesn't look anything like an anatomical heart.
Well, that's where it comes from. Like,
I can appreciate his interpretation.
I appreciate the subject matter. But it's funny, like all those girls you knew in high school that used to dot their eyes with little hearts, they're just drawing butts all over their paper. But yeah, we'll get this closed up. We'll flatten her just a little bit. And bada bing, we got a heart for your sweetheart on Valentine's Day. Da 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 da.
Spoiler alert. That's my Valentine's Day present.
I haven't given somebody a Valentine's Day gift since the times where you build a paper box to tape to your desk, and then you spend a whole day parading around the room putting little Valentine's Day cards with like Spider-Man and Batman and Barbie and crap on. Me and my Valentine. It's got like Spider-Man swinging through the city because that makes sense.
Do that stuff again? Like a little higher?
Now I'm gonna fall over.
I just wanted the people at home to get the full image of what we were
Here's the thumbnail for the video.
And the title is going to be Spider-Man or Blacksmithing.
A little sooty.
Yeah.
Who would have guessed?
Yeah, who would have thought blacksmithing is such a dirty thing to do? Especially when you blow your nose after and just black comes out.
Yeah, at least when I do drywall, it's white.
Yeah, the white powder around your nose when you're doing drywall is from the drywall, Levi. Sure.
Hey,
Especially when I'm in Florida.
this is a PG-ish channel.
Yeah, I think we lost that when you went on your swearing raid earlier.
It's fine.
Oop, I almost dropped it again. I'm about to drop it.
The guitar.
Well, it is in fact hot. There we go. I'm calling it a heart. And we're probably at what, an hour 45 or so into the stream?
Plus, hour 51.
What's 6 minutes between friends, right? So, friends, here we go. We got ourselves a little bit of a heart. Let's go to camera 2 because we haven't used that in a minute. Da 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 da.
Back up.
Yep. Doop 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 doop.
Go down a little bit.
Doop doop doop.
There you go.
Boom. All right. So we made ourselves a heart. Hooray. Now I have a place to set it, so we'll just set it here. All right. Well, we made ourselves a heart. We talked about some nonsense. I dropped some stuff.
You didn't burn yourself.
I did not burn myself yet. So I think that's a good place to end it for the night. Make a bunch of those. Give them to all your sweethearts. But I really love the idea of make one and go like 3 houses down and knock on the door and be like, hey, I was thinking of you when I made this. I want you to have it. Make it weird. Like, it's fun. Heck, maybe I'll point this and walk across the street and give it to Ian and be like, here you go, buddy. Just to make it weird.
Keep waiting for Ian to comment. Like,
Yeah, I was waiting for it.
And giving a warning about it.
We'll give him a minute to see if he jumps in there. He's like, I'm, setting the alarm and racking the shotgun. Stay across the street, Jesse. But I think that's it for tonight. Ian didn't pop up in there.
Nah, not yet.
All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and close her down then. Thanks for hanging out. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the little ring-a-ding bell, all that fun stuff. Grab the video and send it to all your friends and whatnots. We will be here next week. Same Forge time, same Forge channel. Don't forget to check out brimstoneforge.us. And we will see you next week. Goodbye. I think we're clear.